Hey everybody, it's your girl Planet Tot on deck. I hope you guys are having a great day, afternoon, and or evening whenever you guys are seeing this. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. You guys already know I appreciate that. If you guys are new here, please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. So picture this. You found the man or woman of your dreams while doing what you would normally do, your day-to-day, everyday, casual stuff, right? You found them. All of a sudden, you guys start talking. You guys become friends. And as time passes, you found out that you guys have just fell in love, madly, head over heels in love with each other. So between love, lust, passion, and trust, you guys develop a bond that's unbreakable, or so you think. Stay on deck with me while I'll share the story of Carey and Robin Heidt. See what happened to their love nest. Okay, so thank you guys so much for being back on deck. I truly appreciate that. Without further ado, let's jump right into this story time. So Carey Albert Heidt was born on June 10th, 1976 at Memorial Hospital in Savannah, Georgia, to his parents, Philip and Linda Heidt of Springfield. He was raised in Springfield, Georgia, where he graduated from Effingham County High in 1994. He married his high school sweetheart, Robin Heidt, on May 13th, 1995. Straight out of high school, you guys. So you guys got to think about it. The average person graduates high school at about 17, 18, and the very next year he was already married. Together they shared 3 children. At the time, Philip, age 11, Mackenzie, age 8, and Elena, age 3. Carey also had a son named Philip C. Heidt that he may have had with another woman. It was said that Carey Heidt was a very successful commercial and residential developer for Caldwell Banker in Rincon, Georgia. He enjoyed hunting with his brothers Craig Heidt and Chris Heidt, tending to his horses, and boating with his family, but most of all, he loved spending time with his kids. So as we begin to dig into this story already, we see that Carey lived a very privileged life, you know. So he went to high school, he fell in love. It sounds like the perfect love story already. You find your high school sweetheart, you marry them, you stay with them, you have kids with them, and so forth. So his high school sweetheart, Robin, was born on July the 25th, 1974, making her a couple years older than Carey. So Carey and Robin's love story is said to be out of a storybook type of love. They met for the first time during their senior year in high school and became friends before realizing they were in love. From catching each other's eye in English class to tying the knot soon after graduation, their courtship was genuinely a whirlwind. And this is coming from family and friends of the Heidt couple who knew them at that time. They, the idol of, people look at other people's relationship and say, oh, I wish I had that. I wish I knew more about that, or whatever the case may be. But they really didn't know what was all going on. So it all looked too good to be true. In the years that followed, the couple gladly welcomed 3 children into their lives, while Carey got a job in real estate development with his father, and Robin, she worked as a paraprofessional. It was seemingly idyllic. So now they're out of high school, they have these kids, they're married. Carey, he's working as a real estate developer with his father. So him and his father, they have like a family business, and it's pretty popular. It's pretty prestigious. They're considered good businessmen. They're well received within their community, within their their social circles, and so forth. Right? Okay. So by 2008, Carey focused more on his business than his personal life, leading to Robin finding solace in his older brother, Craig. They began an affair in April and sneaked about until she admitted to a liaison to her husband in May. Carey was understandably upset, but he decided that he wanted to work things out instead of walking away. The married pair went to counseling, and soon their entire family found out, leading to a high heat and rising tensions. Yet Carey and Craig still continued to see each other, resulting in a double homicide in August 25th, 2008. So let me reverse for a little bit, just so you guys can follow the story. Now, keep in mind, the primary couple here is Robin and Carey. They're together, they had the kids, they got married. Carey starts working as a real estate developer with his father, okay? And he started putting all his energy into his work. But when he did that, his wife, Robin, she now starts putting her energy into Carey's older brother, Craig. Okay, so these two, they get together. They start confiding in each other. One thing to note about Craig is he's also considered the black sheep of the family. So he's not necessarily in the real estate business with his father. He's not necessarily doing so well off. He's just, you guys know the definition of a black sheep, right? They're kind of the person in the family who kind of hangs out, who kind of does their own thing. They're not necessarily dependable. You can't guarantee anything with them, that type of person. Well, that was Craig. So all of a sudden, now that her husband's more occupied with making money, bringing home the bacon, and having a successful, prosperous business, she's now saying, well, I'm lonely and it's cold outside. And what did you say you were doing again, Craig? And so that started to happen. So the events of that early morning on August the 25th, 2008, not only changed everything for the Heidt family, it rocked the community and nationwide attention. On a summer morning, a prominent family lost a father and a son to violence by the hand of another family member. So, and I think that, you know, if you guys have ever watched the show like Deadly Women or you know, For My Man, or this is really not like For My Man, but it just always stems from, there's some kind of a deep-rooted jealousy, there's some kind of a misunderstanding, there's some kind of, jealousy is usually the case, you know, and stuff like that, or there's a motive. So what is the motive? So let's finish jumping into this story, right? Philip Heidt, 59, and his son, Carey Heidt, 32, were shot to death in their beds. Linda Heidt, which is Carey's mother, but she's also Philip's wife, was the third person shot that morning. Linda survived her injuries and managed that morning to call 911 for help. Linda's injuries were such that it took 6 minutes for 911 operators to understand where help was needed. Now, could you guys even begin to fathom, to imagine for even a split second? Okay, you're in your bed, you're laying down, you're asleep. Gunman comes in. The gunman shoots your husband, your son, and just as the mother, he was going to shoot the mother in the face, she turned her face in a split second. He was shooting her head on, but she turned her face in a split second, so he shot her in the side of the face, which I think inadvertently is what saved her life. You know, the fact that he didn't get to shoot her head on, everybody else got shot head on in the face, and while they were sleeping. Now, for some, that's already horrific enough to happen, but who could imagine or who would think that it would be someone you love, someone who you've nourished, who you've watched grow, who you've provided for, who you've kept safe? Who would ever think that they would have to be concerned with something like that coming from someone like that? So my heart really breaks for not just the mother, but the family as a whole. But as a mother, I couldn't even imagine. So on May 22nd, 2009, 9 months later, Philip Craig Heidt, 41 at the time, son of Philip and Linda Heidt, was arrested for the attack. So yeah, so this happened, and then a year later, they went ahead and said, yeah, we all the facts are pointing to Craig. We know who did this. It was your older son. When Craig Heidt stood trial for all the charges against him, Robin took to the stands and detailed her relationship with the entire family. She stated that Carey was a very good husband when he was there. He was a very good father, a wonderful father. Therefore, after his passing, she directly asked her lover if he had anything to do with the offenses, and he said no. According to Robin, they'd also talked about getting married, but she started having second thoughts just before he was arrested. Now, strangely enough, this part is something else that I found out, and I thought it was very unique. I mean, you'll see, you guys will probably pick up more on this a little bit later. So, September 15th, 2010, investigators say 34-year-old John Raft likely committed suicide. He happened to be Robin's brother. Now, keep in mind, in 2000, if you guys are following the timeline, so the family was killed in 2008, August 25th, 2008. Robin's husband and her father-in-law were both killed, and her mother-in-law was shot. Now, in 2009, her lover, should I say, their family, her lover Craig, was arrested for the attacks, right? And in 2010, her own brother committed suicide. You guys, you know how you guys, have you guys ever heard the saying that, disaster or bad things usually happen in sets of 3 or something like that? If anybody has ever heard about that, light up the comments and let me know, because I've heard about that and ain't experienced it, unfortunately. But yeah, anyways, just strange random things I want to share with you guys. Anyhow, the case was prosecuted by the Assistant District Attorney, Michael Meldew, who later served as a Superior Court judge for the, I'm going to call them the OG circuit because I cannot pronounce the name and I don't want to butcher it. So for the OG circuit. Evidence at the 2-week trial showed Craig Heidt was having an affair with Carey Heidt's wife, Robin. Craig Heidt had also looked at land with a realtor, saying he expected to have some money soon. This was odd, as Craig was said to be, again, the black sheep of the family. Now, keep in mind, right before the murders of his brother, Carey, and his father, Philip, happened, okay? And remember, his mother was shot, too. So, Linda, Carey, and Philip, they were all shot, right? With the intent of killing them all. 2 of them actually died of their injuries, right? Now, right before this happened, interesting enough, Craig was said to be looking at land with the realtor, saying the realtor had to be asking him, how you going to pay for this? What's your income like? Because they have to know all this stuff, right? And he probably was like, well, I'm about to come into some big money soon. And this happened right before all the deaths took place. You guys, if you're not putting the pieces together just yet, you will in a few seconds, okay? When the affair became known to the family, it caused great tension. It reached a peak in the days leading up to the murders, Meldew said. Okay, so he's saying right before they were murdered, the affair, the father disapproved, the mother disapproved. They had to have a conversation like, Craig, are you effing serious, dude? This is your brother. This is your brother's wife. These are your nieces. They have 3, your nieces and your nephew. They have 3 kids together, and, Carey has an additional kid. But it's like, wait a minute. So have you guys at home ever experienced something like that? This is a huge cause of family rivalries, one can only imagine, right? Have you guys ever experienced something like that where you're dating or seeing one guy or one girl and somebody in your family decides that they got to have them too? So they go for it. And the other person, they welcome the advances. They allow that to happen. Light up the comments and let me know if you guys have ever experienced something like that. Personally, I have experienced something similar to that, but it was many, many, many moons ago, water under the bridge. But it wasn't like with a husband. It was like boyfriend type situation when I was much younger. But still unpleasant. And I can see how that can lead to other things transpiring. Family members write each other off. They say, I'm not having anything else to do with you ever again. And then some do what this one did. So the motive, according to Meldew, lust and greed, citing the affair with his brother's wife, a $3.5 million life insurance policy on the life of Carey Heidt and Craig Heidt's share of his father's estate. He wanted his brother's life, who told jurors. So Craig, so the attorney, he felt like Craig wanted to be Carey. He wanted his life. He wanted his wife. He wanted his finances. He wanted to do everything that Carey did. However, he didn't want to do what Carey did to work for it. He didn't want to put in the effort. He just wanted to have it, and that was kind of like by any means necessary. Pretty crappy. So under oath, Robin repeatedly refuted the notion of having a direct hand in the murders of her husband and father-in-law. However, she was arrested and charged with threatening a key witness for Craig's trial in 2010. In December of the following year, she was taken into custody again after failing to hand over her children's Social Security amount to Linda, their maternal grandmother, who had temporary custody. Now, you guys, keep in mind, Linda survived her gunshot, so she had temporary custody of the 3 kids that belonged to Carey and Linda, right? Now, Linda, she was still standing by Craig's side after investigators found out that Craig was the one who actually did the murders of, or was believed to have done the murders of his own family. Now, this whole time, Robin, Carey's ex-wife, was standing right behind him, right? So much to the point where it was a key witness to the case, and she went and threatened them. Well, when the authorities found that out, they put her little butt right on in and say, okay, you're under arrest. Let's keep her here. Okay. So her kids were getting Social Security. Robin did not want to give the Social Security money to take care of the kids to Linda, their maternal grandmother. Okay. Well, Linda needed that money at this point to take care of the kids. Keep in mind, her husband, who was a successful real estate developer, was dead, right? She had to bury him. She had to bury her son, Carey, and she had to physically get better from the wounds of her own self being shot in the side of the face. Okay, so in order to take care of them, to kind of manage as time was going on, she needed, finances to be able to do that. You guys light up the comments and let me know if you can understand where I'm coming from here. Right? So while Robin spent 2 days in jail for the latter for something else, she was granted a $15,000 bond in the former with the stipulation that she had to relocate. So thus today in her 40s, Robin seemingly resides in Charleston, South Carolina. Now, here's the whole thing. The judge said, okay, you know what? You threatened somebody. She went to jail for a couple of days. It was for something else, allegedly, but she went to jail for a couple of days. But the judge told her, we want you to relocate during the trial and proceedings and all that, because it was bringing a lot of stress and duress onto the family with her still being out. And not just her and the family, there's family, friends, and neighbors alike who all speculated from the very beginning that Robin had something to do with the murders. Now, whether all that was ever substantiated, I do not believe so, because I don't believe she was ever formally charged for it. So no, it was not. Okay. But there was a lot of speculation around what hand in this that Robin actually played. So you guys light up the comments if you're with me. Okay. So the community and the case has been a part of national news coverage, including a 2-hour show on Dateline NBC and 48 hours on CBS, 48-hour mystery on CBS. Craig Heidt has always said he was innocent of the crimes. His attorney for the case, Dow Bonds of Savannah, said at trial that there was no physical evidence tying Carey Heidt to the murder scene. Bonds also contended that more than one shooter was involved. A motion to move the trial due to publicity was denied by the judge in this case, F. Gates Peed. Craig Heidt is serving 2 life sentences plus 85 years on all 11 counts. The sentences are consecutive. And one other thing I want to point out in case you guys forgot. Now keep in mind, Craig's attorney, Dow Bonds said that they believe that there was 2 gunmen involved. The crime happened in 2008. I'm not saying that this is a real thing. It just makes you think. A lot of question marks go off in my head. Robin's brother killed himself in 2010, just 2 years after the murders of Carey and Philip Heidt. Could this be a coincidence or could this be relatable? I don't know. You guys light up the comments and let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear about them. If you guys are new here, please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Tell anyone and everyone, the girls out here telling true crime stories. And I hope that you guys are enjoying rock with me. I'm sending light and love to the family. If you guys would like to sponsor this story time or any other story time, you guys can do so by dancing on over to Cash App. Put in $, your favorite besties. That is equivalent to giving me a cyber hug, and I love to be hugged cyberly. So thank you guys so much for rocking me. Like I always say, there's always another story to be told. But for now,